is going. Hello, hello, everybody. This is Chef Jesse with Sacred Kitchen, and I am here with the one and only Reem Assil. She is our guest chef on Friday night. She is teaching us the Palestinian national dish, maklouba. And right now, we are going to work on a couple of little recipes that you can bring to class on Friday. We would love to have you join us. What are we making today, Chef?
So today we're making sort of the iconic side dish to any Arab spread, which is what we call the Arab or Arabic salad. It's just like an herbaceous tomato cucumber salad. We're on the last leg of our tomato season, so figured we'd bring summer as much as we can into the fall season. And then we're going to make a very popular pickle called lift in Arabic, and it's pickled turnips, but they're a magenta color because we pickle them with beet that provides the natural sugar.
Ooh, that sounds really fun. Chef, if you want to maybe get us going, I don't know, are we starting with the pickles? And then if you want to try the posting to your feed.
Yeah, let me figure that out because I'm just looking at your videos and
it should be popping up right about now. We're working with all of the technologies. As you can see, Chef Reem is in her kitchen, which is alive and well and humming. Tell us really quickly, Chef, what are you guys up to at Reem's California? You have a very critically acclaimed restaurant. How have you guys been adjusting and adapting to the pandemic situation?
well, we've been doing whatever we can. I mean, I have to say we're blessed. We have, a whole community of loyal fans and lots of people in this neighborhood that have become our regulars. I am trying to find this live book feed, but I am failing miserably.
No
Um,
worries. Let's let me see if I can coach you through it in
yeah,
for just
yeah.
for just a moment here, and then if it
I
doesn't,
see cornbread. I see you doing a video of cornbread.
you see the vegan soul food recipe. All right,
Yes.
let's see if we go to. Let me just hunt this down in my feed here really quick and see if I can find it. So if you go to the Sacred Kitchen and Chef Jesse Bloom page,
Uh-huh.
and then on the where is it? Let's see here. On the
I see home events and videos. I clicked on videos.
I'm visiting it as a visitor right now. If you go to videos on the top, right, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Then once you click on that, the first thing on the top should be you and I.
Oh, it's some vegan cornbread.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, it says most popular.
Yeah, keep
Maybe.
scrolling down. Keep scrolling down. Now do you see us?
No. I see all videos underneath.
Yeah, so on my feed where it says all videos, it shows you. And if it doesn't show you, then it's just there's some kind of a lag happening and we'll just forget about it. It's not
Okay. All right. Sorry
yeah,
about that.
it's not there.
I'll
It's
just
there
keep it.
online.
We'll come
Yeah,
back and check on it.
yeah, and you
I'll
can
save. I'll share it later.
yeah, you can share it later. Okay, so
Yeah. So we're in the midst of a lunch service here.
yeah,
There's
I'm gonna do the intro again really quick because that will allow me to just do one chunk at the beginning and I can just wipe out all of this stuff that we're doing right now. So hey everybody, this is Chef Jesse with Sacred Kitchen. I am here with the one and only Reem Assil of Reem's, California, and she is our guest chef on Friday night's global soul food cooking classes. We're doing Palestinian food. And Chef, why don't you tell us what the menu is on Friday and what we're making today? We're so excited that you carved some time out of your very, very busy schedule to show up. Thank you.
awesome. So I'm super excited to share with you all an iconic Palestinian dish called maklouba, which in Arabic literally means turned upside down. It's this aromatic layered rice dish with a whole bunch of vegetables. And we're going to be making it with a roasted chicken. And yeah, it's like the main event, but then it's enjoyed with a bunch of little side dishes. We're gonna be doing a yogurt salad on Friday, and then today we're gonna be making some pickles to be ready for Friday. Some beet pickled turnips. So these turnips with like a magenta color, and Arabic salad, which essentially is a tomato, cucumber, herb salad. But it's so simple but so delicious. And we'll bring it all together on Friday.
Awesome. Let's get into it. Walk me through it. What am I doing here? I've got turnips, I've got beets, I've got chilies and garlic. I'm ready.
Awesome, awesome. So we're gonna start by sort of shaping our turnips. So originally when we were thinking about this, we were thinking about doing small Tokyo turnips, which I see. Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know.
Which are wonderful to use. They're small, they're white, they're totally delicious.
Yes.
They're not in the stores.
They're not in stores or in season. If you had smaller turnips, the cut would be much easier, but I'm going to teach you sort of the more traditional cut on these turnips. So if you have kind of nice clean turnips, you can keep the nice hue of shell on. The bitterness is not bad if they're thin enough. Or you can go ahead and peel it. See, yours is a little bit of a hefty one. So.
Yeah, and mine's got a little, it's a little worse for the wear, I think, transport.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and peel this then. That's
Yes.
what you're suggesting, yeah?
Yes, yep.
Okay, great.
So you're going to peel your turnips.
Chef, what do you got going on over there? It looks like you are not exactly in your home kitchen. What's
my
restaurant you are in your home kitchen?
Yeah, my restaurant kitchen is my home kitchen. Yeah, we're in the midst of a hustling and bustling lunch service here at Reem's, California. We Tuesdays tend to be a busy day for us because we're closed on Sundays and Mondays. So people getting their
Are you guys doing seated service, or are you or is it all takeout right now?
It's pretty much takeout. We have outdoor seating, but it's like a God's Road style service where we're calling people's names out of a window when they're eating at their table and bussing their own tables.
Got it. So minimal.
We're sort of in a minimal contact with our employees, which is our sort of biggest priority to keep folks safe. Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a peeled turnip. Now what do I do?
All right. So we're gonna cut these into about 1/2-inch slices,
okay.
Lengthwise, I would say.
Let
me see yours, actually, depending on how big your thing is. Let me see yours.
Yeah, I've got a big guy.
Okay, I would say cut it in half.
Okay, so I'm
gonna cut it in half.
Cut it in half like this, and then
turn it on its side, and then 1/2-inch slices. Yeah.
So kind of like I'm looking for like a half moon type of thing here, like that, or am I cutting it into sticks?
You're gonna cut it into sticks, yes.
Okay, so start with these big half moons, and then cut it,
Don't get ahead of yourself. That's kidding. Yeah. Well, you're the chef too, so.
Yes,
yes, you're gonna cut it. You're gonna do a little 1/2-inch cross section to create little.
You just there you go. You're gonna all right. So then we're just doing these kind of big chunks. So
so the last chunks will be like they'll look like this.
Okay, great. Oh, and you can see if you do have a smaller turnip with thin skin, it is really nice to leave that beautiful purple on there for sure. You can definitely see that that's happening. It's always a fun dance to work with other chefs because some chefs are very loose and some chefs are very formal. So it's always my pleasure to learn how to dance.
Yes.
All right.
I mean, I do try not to have chefs get ahead of themselves when I'm teaching, but no, I'm not traditional by any means. So you want to go ahead and this should you should have like 2 or 3 of those turnips to kind of create a pound.
Yep.
A pound's worth of turnips.
Yeah, I think I may be working with the half recipe.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Just because it's just me.
Awesome. So we'll do a half. Yeah, it's just you. But these last for a good minute. So, trust me, you'll want to make these all the time.
Yep.
We have like 22 quarts of them in our walk-in.
They're just sitting there in a big old Lexan.
Yep.
Beautiful. Love it. All right.
So you got your turnips ready?
I've got my 2 turnips that are sliced into sticks here.
Okay. So you have your little induction burner right next to you.
I do.
I could see. So you're gonna have sort of a medium-sized pot, and you want to do, apple cider vinegar is my go-to. It sort of like has the sweetness we're looking for. I don't use any kind of sugars in this, but you can use really any. You don't want to use something that's like too overpowering, but you can also use any kind of white vinegar.
Okay. So like not necessarily like a balsamic, but a champagne.
Not a balsamic, exactly, but a champagne is
or
fine.
White wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So I've got I don't have my scale with me, but I've got a chunk of turnips, probably close to a pound, 3/4 of a pound, and now I'm going to heat up apple cider vinegar and water in equal parts. Correct?
Exactly.
Okay, great. So I've got my apple cider vinegar here, nice and pretty, and a little bit of water. And am I basically doing this to cover? Is that the basic plan?
Exactly. You want to submerge your vegetables in the brine.
Yeah. So for me, I think I'm going to be able to get this all into a cup of apple cider vinegar and a cup of water. But I probably want some delicious aromatics in this brine first, right?
Yes. So you're gonna, so my go-to for the aromatics or the sort of flavoring is coriander. Coriander is like one of the most used ingredients in the Middle East.
So I'm just adding this in, right?
Yeah. You're just gonna pop it right in there.
A tablespoon, a teaspoon, how much?
Let's say like a heaping teaspoon,
Like that much?
Like my mom, like that much. No, you can't see. I have to go like this.
There you go. Okay, cool. And then probably a little less of black pepper because it's potent. Right?
Yeah.
And that's it in terms of
Yeah. If you have fennel seeds.
Okay.
Fennel seeds, those go really well. Dill seeds, which people don't usually have in their household, but it's a staple in Arab cooking, which is sort of like a fennel seed. There you go. You have all the spices on hand.
I've got all the spices. I've got all of them. What about mustard seeds?
There's some mustard seed, I was going to say. That's like a good... really any kind of... If you have like just a pickling seed at home, you can do that.
You can kind of get creative, but fennel would be a very traditional little mustard. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm just bringing this up to a simmer. Now I add some salt as well, right?
Yes.
How much salt are you looking for?
I would do about 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of salt, depending on your desire.
So
wow, freshly ground salt, huh?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. You have kosher salt that works just as well.
Yeah.
If you do sea salt, you do a little bit less of it too. So a little bit goes a longer way.
Yeah.
When you're using sea salt.
It's a little less industrial production over here for me post pandemic.
Yeah, I know. It's hard when I do these and people ask me to like scale down my recipes.
I'm with you. I'd much rather cook for 100 than one.
Yeah.
Much more comfortable for me. So, okay, so I've got this.
This is simmering.
And then do I do anything else with it? What are we doing with the beets? Talk to me.
Yeah, so we're going to peel our beets.
right.
So there's two schools of thought on the pickles. One, you can just kind of peel and quarter these beets.
Okay.
And just they're really used for the flavor.
Yep.
But then why waste these beautiful beets? So, like there's some folks at Reem's that cut them into the spheres just like the turnips themselves, and you have a nice little mix. Or once they're pickled, you can kind of slice them nice and thin, or chop them up. So I like to keep them in quarters just to give myself the option how I want them. Because once they're pickled, you can kind of mandolin them. You can do a little fine dice.
And in a change from my normal MO, I'm going to try to do almost everything this class today and on Friday the way that Chef Reem does it. Usually I do my interpretations of other people's menus, but I'm going to just try to follow yours. It's a very exciting challenge for me to follow a recipe. Not my normal
interpretations.
All right, so I'm just going to quarter these beets. And can I go ahead and put them in now, or do I want to?
I might, if your beets are a little bit bigger, like you can get them down to smaller. What's the size of your jar, if I may ask?
I'll probably be using like a quart jar, like this size.
Okay, great. Yeah, just so like you can kind of fit them on, because we're gonna basically create layers. You can see that's a theme here.
Right, so maybe I'll do these in chunks. Like these are pretty big. Maybe I'll do them
like
in eights. And it'll be nice that there's some different shapes in the final product as well. I think that'll be fun. All right. So now I can put these in the brine.
Yeah, you can put them on the bottom of the brine. You can put some. Part of this is the looks of it too, as it sits and ferments. So however you want to design, you don't even have to put those in the brine. The hot brine is going to go over our jar. So, but
got it. So these don't need to go in the brine. Whoops.
You know what? It's
all fine.
The hot brine is going to go over the beets at some point, so it's not going to ruin it. Do it either way, whatever's easiest.
Well, either way, I'm super curious how you do all of it. So I'm going to just follow. Like I said, I'm going to take the novel and exciting attempt to just follow directions at this point. Okay.
So I like a little heat in mine, so I add chili. Serrano is sort of my go-to.
Okay.
It's pretty flavorful in its own right, and it's not like absurd amount of heat. So depending on how hot, you can either slice this lengthwise, or if you want like a slow infusion of flavor, slow infusion of heat, so you can kind of get the flavor of the Serrano, you can cut little incisions.
Oh, cool.
And those will squeeze out. Yeah.
If you cut it in half, you're exposing the seeds, the capsicum, and that's where the flavor lives. So you can make a real spicy pickle. And if you do what Chef Reem is suggesting, where you kind of make these little incisions, then you're going to get more of the flavor of the Serrano and a little bit less of the heat. And I've never done that before, and it sounds exciting.
And then over time, like the heat will intensify. Like you could just cut this in half and de-seed it and get the same, but I like that heat sort of eventually coming in.
Yeah. So. And how many, for your recipe, which is double what I'm doing, how many Serranos will you use?
I do like 1 to 2, depending on how old they are.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna continue to let this steep. Is it time to pour it over? Do we let it?
We're gonna sort of build our jar, and then we're gonna pour our brine right over it.
Okay, great. Yeah. So it's time to do that now?
Yeah, we have one more sort of aromatic, which is the garlic.
Right.
Very important part of Arab cuisine. So however many garlic pieces you like. I mean, I go like 4, 5, 6. You can do it of 2 ways. You can kind of slice your garlic, or you can kind of just put your knife on it and give it a little bit of a smash on your clove.
And are you just putting whole garlic in there, or what are you?
Yep. You can do half of a garlic if you don't want to eat. I like pickled garlic, so I always take the cloves out. And
I
give
was
up.
in
Yeah.
I was teaching a class and yesterday, and we had a bartender who was talking about the delights of pickled garlic in Bloody Marys. So,
Yeah. Yes. That sounds lovely.
so not going to complain about that, and I think I'll go whole. And are these going? These are going right in the brine right now, or do you like to layer them in as well?
I layer them in as well, but it really honestly doesn't matter. It's really like what's going to be the easiest for you. Okay, so now we're going to take a sterilized jar.
Reem, I'm going to highlight your camera here for a moment, and if I can, or not. Let's see. Never mind. Never mind. Carry on. Carry on.
And I'm going to start to kind of layer my turnips in here. So,
Reem, can you adjust your camera angle so we can see your jar for just a minute? There.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
So you can kind of see I'm putting sort of a layer, and obviously I have to cut a few more turnips to fill this up. And then some garlic in there, and maybe my serrano. And then you just kind of build up. So really, I go for more.
All right, so I'm starting with some of the turnips. I'm gonna kind of layer those guys in on the bottom here. Throw a couple beets in the mix.
Some beets in there, yeah.
I've decided that I'm gonna just slice up these beets.
Totally.
I think it'll be fun to have a few little.
Yeah, some fun surprises in there.
Yeah, some mooncake slices I think will be nice. It'll create some.
Yeah, we kind of cut them into slices too. It's like an added bonus sometimes. Someone gets lucky enough to get
and
a beet hiding in their pickles.
Chef, tell us what you do with these. Like, how do you serve these? Do these are these a little side that kind of go with everything? Like, or is it specific dishes? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, they're essentially sides that go with pretty much all of our dishes. But you can also put them into sandwiches.
Yum.
Yeah, they're like an add-on that people love. People love to go to.
Oh, looks like my jar is gonna.
And I'm gonna add another chili here because I like mine spicy.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna need two. I think we're a 2 chili house. Now this is a this is a Fresno pepper, and this also is kind of a nice in between, not super hot. It's a flavor I love a lot, and so I think this will go well in there as well.
Yeah, love me some Fresno.
That told me earlier that was something she liked to do, so I'm not just totally making that up. So I've got all my layers here, Chef, and now I'm just gonna
stuffed. Yep.
I'm just gonna pour the brine over.
Yep. Yeah, with all the seeds and everything.
All the seeds and everything.
Yep.
So that, like, what would you say about that? I mean, to me, like, when I think about the kind of food I love, which is sort of like the people's food from all over the world, I feel like it comes with a lot of seeds and a lot of stems of, delicious herbs and things like that. And I've definitely been scolded in kitchens before for like not straining things and stuff like that. Do you feel like that's a part of Arab cuisine, or is that more of like, to just include the seeds, or is that more of just like a chef preference?
I actually don't know. That's a good question. I feel like I grew up seeing seeds in my food. So certainly it comes from somewhere, but I think I just don't like to waste anything. And the more, we kind of activated this brine over simmering low heat, but I believe in long and slow flavor development.
Okay.
Through fermentation and other ways. So those
So
coriander seeds are still doing their thing,
Yeah, the seeds, even as this sits even for a month in your fridge, where it'll still be perfectly delicious, these seeds and the chilies are going to continue to impart their flavor. And then what do I do now? I've got this guy ready
That's
to go.
it. You kind of, stuff it as much as you can. Um, there you go. Sort of like leave no space. Leave no space behind. And then you're going to seal it, and you can do a number of things. You could either go back. I mean, you could put it right into the fridge, or you can let it sit out for 2 or 3 days to get some slightly fermented flavors in there. It really depends on sort of your preference.
So I want
This works really nice as a quick pickle. So if you didn't have time for this to ferment, you could easily make this to it. Like if we made this today, it'll be ready by Friday.
Okay. But
if you wanted to kind of develop some fermented flavors, you can leave it.
And so if I leave this warm, covered, out for 2 or 3 days, then that will do the thing? Or is that okay? Actually, I'm not familiar with this. I don't want to
That will do the thing. Yeah. I mean, as long as you don't open it, you don't want any sort of.
And it's not going to cause any, like, it's not going to ferment in a bad way in here.
No.
Okay. Cool. I learned something new. How exciting. Wonderful. All right. Well, that was a great lesson. So just to do a quick review, everybody, what we did here is we cut up big sticks of turnips. You can use Tokyo turnips, which you don't have to cut as much. We've got garlic and beets for color. We've got coriander and black pepper, plus some other seeds that you might like. I added some mustard. Fennel is very traditional. You can kind of just go with your bad self in terms of what kind of seeds you want to add. We heated 1 part vinegar to 1 part water, and then we covered our pickles in the jar. We're sealing them. We're going to let them hang out on the counter for 2 or 3 days, and then they'll hold for a while in the fridge. And if you're lucky, you have fun red beet hands. Woohoo! Almost as fun as turmeric hands. All right. Anything else you want to add on that before we jump into the Arab salad?
Let's get to the salad.
All right, let's go. So for the salad, we've got tomatoes and cucumber. We've got olive oil and lemon. We've got parsley and mint. And am I forgetting anything else? Salt and pepper?
Salt and pepper, chili if you want it.
Yeah, we still have some chilies.
Yeah.
Some of us like it spicy.
Yeah.
All right, walk me through it here, Chef.
All right. So this is the most simple version of this dish. Some people like to add like green onions or some form of an onion, like a red onion or a sweet onion.
Yeah, I was going to ask if a red onion is something that's very...
Yeah, totally. You can kind of throw... Yeah. We're just kind of doing the very basics, and then you can kind of add what you want. I love when green garlic comes into season. I add that in there. Okay, so what about 2 medium onions or 2 medium tomatoes or like 3? So I have these small early girls.
Yeah, I've got these little baby Romas. So I'm gonna do
some baby Romas you can use.
I'll probably do, since it's again just me, I'll probably do 2 of them. But if it were me, one I'd probably do 3 or 4. So
yeah, really depending on how many people you're feeding. And then you're gonna small dice these. This is almost, I want to say, like the trick to a good Arabic salad is just equal cuts on everything. Okay. So you get kind of a small bite.
Got it.
So I would say like a medium dice.
Okay.
So it should be like.
And do you have a technique that you like to share for these guys?
For the Romas?
Yeah.
I just do it the same way we kind of did the turnips. You're gonna kind of slice lengthwise.
We can't see the board,
unfortunately. Yeah, ready?
We'd rather see your face than your board.
Okay, ready?
Oh, there we go.
So I've sliced lengthwise. This is a pretty small Roma. The bigger ones you might slice one more time. And then just kind of go down the length of it. Of course, have a better knife than I do. And just kind of nice medium dice. Beautiful. Thank you for that, Chef. Another way that's basically an adaptation of what Chef showed is if you start with the stem end where the stem connects down, and you cut just like she did, but not all the way through, and you have a sharp knife, quote, very important word in that sentence, and you have a sharp knife.
what you can do is you can cut all the way down, but you keep it together, and then you do it the other way. You cut all the way down,
create a cross section,
but you keep it together, and then as I slice down, I end up with all at once a diced tomato, and then there'll just be a little part at the end, this little part at the end that I need to manage. And what Chef Reem is showing us here is that we want to be kind of consistent with our tomato and our cucumber cuts, and we're working on kind of a medium dice here, so you don't get too much of anything in your face at one time.
So you're doing a salad for one.
Yeah, you know.
So you can see the differences. I was like, this is not enough, Jesse.
I mean, it's only ever been in the pandemic that I've really cooked for one or for two. I often cook for my son, but you know, I don't have the whole commercial setup. So mostly
I'm gonna grab a bowl for myself.
Okay, wonderful. So just getting these guys cut up here. And I'm gonna get these guys in the same, I'm gonna grab myself a little bowl as well. This one will be pretty because you guys can see in the middle of it. You can see all the pretty colors. And then, Chef, there's so many different kinds of cucumbers that are available to us these days. There's Persian cucumbers, which are these little guys. We've got the big, giant, long English cucumbers, and then we've got kind of your standard cucumber. Is there a preference? Is there something that is more traditional in Palestine?
For sure.
These ones, the little guys?
Persian cucumbers are our go-to. This is more, the English cucumbers tend to be more watery and lots of seeds, so you want the sort of basic crunch of a Persian cucumber. When they're in season, we also love Armenian cucumbers,
okay,
which are these like long, like light green.
Long, gnarly ones. Or
Yeah,
they get all gnarly, they get all like twisted, and they're super beautiful.
Yeah. So again, you're gonna kind of try to go for the same
size of cut.
Same size, so I kind of cut it into 6. You can.
Okay. And a great trick to use, and something when I'm running commercial production that I always encourage my chefs to do, is to actually take the size of cut that you want. Like I've got this little tomato here, and I'm going to leave this on the front of my board as an example. And even if I'm the person who's decided how I want the cuts, my cuts will change over time. And so I leave myself a little sample to compare against, and that will help me keep my sizes consistent over time. And my cucumbers, I think, are a little smaller. And so I'm just cutting mine in quarters. And that's going to give me a really consistent size with my tomato. You can see those two guys are buddies now. And I just throw these all in the same, they all go in the same.
Totally.
Size. Awesome.
So it's usually 2 parts tomato to 2 to 1, I would say.
2 parts tomato to 1 part cucumber. There we go. We've got our ratio.
Yeah, this is really a tomato salad. Everybody else is just like a supporting player.
All right. Tomato is the star of the show, we could say.
All right, and then herbs are sort of the next sort of part of the supporting cast. So my go-tos are parsley and mint.
Parsley and mint. Now, what about cilantro? Would you use cilantro in this?
Yeah, you can use cilantro.
Okay.
Yeah, some people have aversions to cilantro, so I don't always put it. But the trifecta of mint, parsley, and cilantro is.
Is that a traditional? Is cilantro a traditional part of?
Yeah, I mean we use coriander, so we definitely use cilantro.
Yeah.
We tend to use the seed more than the leaf, but it's in a lot of our like hot sauces and Fennel is another sort of go-to, fennel prawns, if you wanted to do
So
like
you could add fennel to this dish, which would add a really delicious, lovely licoriciness to it.
or dill prawns.
Dill.
Fennel is not as traditional, but I have it on hand all the time, and I'm like, what am I going to use with all these prawns?
What do I do
So
with
I
all
just kind of, yeah, so I just kind of keep it. And you want to kind of, go ahead and fine chop these.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how do you like to chop it? Because, I know some chefs like that real rustic, like kind of rough chop, and then some, it's like very, very fine.
Not too fine.
I would call that a
Sort
rough.
of like rough chop, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's definitely my.
Yeah, roughly chopped. Sorry.
Do you have like a ratio of herbs to tomatoes? Is it just sort of like a lot, or is it to taste?
I usually, it is to taste, really. But I would say about 3 to 4 tablespoons of each chopped herb. If you think it's like your tomato and cucumber make about 2 cups, then you want to do like a 2-to-1 ratio on the herbs, right? So you want to, or maybe a little bit more, like a 3-to-1. So if you got like a 4th cup of each.
We're just gonna
Start with, you can move up to a half if you want to.
Yeah, so I've got like a very loosely packed. I've got 3/4 of a cup of herbs between both of them for what is about 2 cups of salad here. And then do I just dump these in now? Do I do anything beforehand?
No, you can dump them in.
All right. All righty. Yummy. What is next, Chef?
All right. So if you want to throw in any sort of additional things like chili and onion, you can basically, I like to just kind of like really finely mince them. And then I'm going to whisk them into my vinaigrette.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about
activate the vinaigrette.
I'm gonna mince up some chilies and some garlic. I love the flavor of a Fresno pepper, so I'm gonna use those. Serrano is also, of the real spicy peppers, or what I consider the spicy peppers, I would say Serrano is generally my favorite, because it's got a lot of flavor, but you can taste things around it, as opposed to habanero. Put a habanero in, and unless you're cooking for 500, that's.
So would you say Fresno chilies are more mild than Serrano?
I don't know. They're like just on, like, I think of a Fresno kind of like.
I thought they were more intense. So
really, I could be wrong. I think of them as a little bit milder than a jalapeno, and I just don't
They're the same family, right?
Yeah, it's basically a red jalapeno, but usually I think of them as not being quite as intense as a jalapeno, but I like the flavor more than a jalapeno. Right. And jalapenos are fine, but they're just not my favorite kind of tone of heat, which is why I like both Fresnos and Serranos. So Chef and I are mincing up this. Now, if you want, you can see I'm going to cut around this Serrano. Around this Fresno seeds. That's going to make it much less spicy, because I'm going to leave the seeds out. If you want to leave the seeds in, that's great. Just that's where the heat is. So, and also if you're cutting up chili peppers, it's always great to work with gloves, because otherwise, when you touch your face or you touch your eyes, you can have a fun afternoon if you have.
I learned that the hard way.
I feel like most of us who work in the kitchen have learned that lesson once very intensely, and then you get it. So what we're going to do is we're going to whisk these aromatics into the vinaigrette, and Chef is going to learn us up on how to do that.
So I've just squeezed a juice of 1 lemon. I'm always like, this is the part that I have a hard time with, because not all lemons are created equally. So you want about like 2 tablespoons, I would say, 2 tablespoons. And then I'm trying to like whittle it down to your 2 cups with them. used
Well,
to
no,
like.
you could do double the recipe.
Yeah. It's 2 to 1 oil, 1 oil to lemon.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
yeah, to about a fourth cup of olive oil. I use my go-to olive oil is Porto, like a
Porto,
nice California olive oil.
Porto. Oh, cool. I don't
Yeah.
know about that one.
Oh yeah, they're great. I learned about them through Gray Street actually. Um, yeah, they have an estate in Lodi. They're awesome.
So, I don't know if you're familiar with this, chef. This is an olive oil I've been using a lot lately. It's called Bariani.
Oh, cool.
Um,
No, I've
and
never seen that. It's
yeah,
California.
it's a local California olive oil, and I just dig it. I think it's
Yeah.
quite flavorful. It's not it's on the expensive end, but like
Yeah,
you
a
can
little
use
bit
it
goes
as
a
like
long way.
you can use it as like a finishing oil
Right.
without ruining your margins.
Right.
And so one thing that you can consider here, and chef's recipe kind of alludes to this, is my belly doesn't like raw garlic very much, but if I macerate it in some lemon and some salt, even if it's for 10 or 15 minutes, it doesn't have to be a real long time. Macerate just basically means to marinate in it. It takes a little bit of the pungence off, and it makes it less less difficult. And I'm not the only person with that consideration in mind. So simply soaking your intense aromatics in a little bit of vinegar, or in this case lemon juice, can be really helpful and does something different to their flavor as well, that I just like, even if it wasn't just about the digestibility. So chef, tell us what you got going on next. You've got all of the ingredients for your vinaigrette, which is basically 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and twice as much olive oil, plus a little bit of minced up garlic and chili. Is there anything else? Some salt, I'm assuming,
Some salt, right? Yes. So depending on sort of what kind of salt you're using, I have to check if this is salt, because okay, it's salt. You can do kind of a coarser salt for the finishing, or a finer salt, but yeah, I feel like about, it's like a half teaspoon to start with, or a fourth teaspoon. I always forget that we're a couple of pinches, as my mom would say.
Couple of pinches of salt. Have you always been kind of excellent with recipes, or has it been something that you had to develop as your business grew?
I have never been excellent with recipes. I was not savory. I'm a trained baker, so
Okay.
So baking was sort of where I built that skill, and cooking is a lot different. And I grew up with a mom that, although ironically she's a chemist, definitely did not have like set in stone recipes. So it was a lot of feel. And so I think over time I just developed a feel for it. But I learned how to create recipes in the context of building a restaurant, which is very different than home cooking. So now, as I'm sort of going back to home cooking and having to like share things with people, it's been quite interesting.
You're scaling down, which is it's a whole different thing.
All right, and now I'm like essentially drizzling my salad with this vinaigrette.
Reem, can we see it? I don't know if you're.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab. Hold on one second.
Sure. So what I've got going on here, as you can take a quick look, is I've got this garlic and chili peppers macerating in this lemon and salt mixture, and then I think what chef.
See how I threw the herbs right on top?
Oh, I like that. Okay, so she's got the herbs right in there, which right in the salad. Okay, great. I did the same thing.
Right. They kind of make the greens of the salad.
And then I'm just. Are you doing it? Are you doing any kind of an emulsion with your
Nope.
vinaigrette?
I
You're
mean,
just
I'm, you can do this straight into your salad. You don't need to do, but I just thought the dispersion of the garlic and chili would work that well. But usually I just go ahead and squeeze my lemon and my olive oil right on top,
nice.
and my salt, because you're going to adjust the salt to taste, of course.
Right. So I'm gonna do a little taste test here and see where I'm at on salt. I'm actually gonna add just a little salt to both my cucumber and my tomato will really drink up a good amount of salt. And I've got this delicious combination of chilies and lemon juice and garlic.
The nice thing is, like, you can never have too much vinaigrette for this, because it's like it's all gonna sort of marinate, and it gets better with time. Like, you can make this, like 2 hours ahead, and just like let it sit in your fridge, and then take it out to serve.
Wonderful. Now I feel like I'm just smelling this right now, and I'm like, oh man, I would feel like this is very traditional in some tradition. I'm not sure which one, to put some feta on top of it, to put some cheese on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's a Greek thing.
Great. So that would be like more like if this is a very similar salad that we could call a Greek salad.
Yeah. Feel the heat from the chili.
That's delicious. It doesn't need anything.
Yeah.
So the invitation is for you to bring this delicious salad and these delicious pickles to join us on Friday night while we make makluba. Am I saying that right? Makluba.
Got it. Makluba.
Makluba, which is the Palestinian national dish. It means turned over. So we're gonna make this amazing chicken, rice, vegetable, layered delightfulness, and then we're gonna flip it all over onto a giant platter and pray that it works amazingly. Right? That's basically the basics, right?
Yeah. And then we're gonna freshen up all of that richness with the salad and some yogurt.
That's right. The salad, the pickles, and a little cucumber yogurt goodness as well. Well, Chef, I want to just say thank you. Thank you so much. If you would just tell folks, if they have made it to the end of this video, if you'll just tell them where they can find you and how they can support you and where you are and what you're up to, I know they would love to hear.
Okay, you can find us through the interwebs. You can find us at reemscalifornia.com. All of our sort of happenings, and we're always sort of moving and trying to adapt to the time. So that's the best way to know what's going on with us. Or our IG account, which is at Reem's California. And if you want to come visit us, we're right there on the sunny side of 25th and Mission here in San Francisco. Or if you're on the Oakland side, you can order a meal kit from us that we serve up every Friday for pickup either at our location or Alkali Rye, which is an awesome partner of ours.
Are you still doing, are you guys still doing the work with World Central Kitchen?
We are, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Oakland has, essentially we've sort of pivoted our operations for the last 7 months to feeding the most food insecure parts of our community through partnerships with groups like World Central Kitchen and a group that formed right out of the pandemic called SF Heal. And we're making, over 2,000 meals a week we're up to now. And that work has been really rewarding. And every sort of churches, low-income housing units, a lot of folks in houseless populations, people who really have been the most impacted by this, most vulnerable, and most negatively impacted by this pandemic. So
awesome. Thank you so much for doing that work, the work of feeding the hungry people.
Yes.
It's a big work. So Well, thank you so much. We hope that you come and cook with us on Friday. And I think with that said, I will end the live stream and we'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.